Every once in a while, there's a little miracle on Fox News. One of their panelists actually tells the truth, and the rest of the table has no idea what to do or say. As is often the case, the one person occasionally telling the truth is Jessica Tarlov, the lone liberal voice on Fox's The Five, who delivered what I can only describe as a legal beatdown on her co-hosts, and it left them quite literally speechless. Of course, they were discussing Donald Trump's latest authoritarian fantasy of deporting people born in the United States, American citizens, or naturalized American citizens, to other countries. In some cases, countries that those people don't even have a connection to. And Tarlov shuts it down. Let's take a look at this, and you will see that nobody had a comeback, because there is no comeback if you care about the law.
I think that it's funny getting that hot mic moment where Donald Trump and the El Salvadorian president are talking. They're kind of loitering around at the front of the Oval Office where they're joking about like, oh, wouldn't it be great if you could take our homegrown ones? You cannot legally send Americans to an El Salvadorian prison camp, no matter what they have done. Senator Kennedy was on our air earlier this afternoon with Sandra and John and said as much. Okay, you look at, one more thing to say. Actually, multiple more things to say. But what is most important is that under the Alien Enemies Act, you deserve due process. And that's what the Supreme Court ruled. And if you go back to World War II, when we were invoking this same act, that people who were here undocumented from Japan, from Germany, from Italy, were allowed to go into a court where they could argue that they weren't a danger to this nation. Abrego Garcia was not afforded that right to come into court and to argue as to why he should not be deported. And it is not the same thing to deport someone to their home country as to send them to a prison.
Well, then
you know that.
No one had a substantive legal comeback because there is no legal comeback. What Trump is suggesting, deporting citizens without due process, without any legal mechanism, or deporting them at all, is completely unconstitutional. It violates the most basic principles of American law. And what I like is that Tarlov didn't raise her voice. She did have to stop 2 interruptions, but she didn't raise her voice. She didn't insult anyone because she doesn't need to. She pointed to the obvious. You can't ship someone that is a citizen to a foreign prison because you don't like them, because this isn't a dictatorship yet. I sadly have to say that. Not being hyperbolic, not predicting this will become a full-blown dictatorship or police state, but I do have to mention yet, because there are people in power who would love that to be the direction this goes in. You know, the other hosts sit there blinking like deer in headlights, realizing that Donald Trump's plans do break the law. They can't justify it legally because it's not legal. An important moment, because it shows what happens when even a tiny bit of reality breaks through the Fox News filter and you could see it on their faces. Wait, is that true? If it's simply against the law, there's really no way that we can rebut it. And of course, it is. And hopefully we'll hear more people like Jessica Tarlov speaking up on Fox News. And then maybe some of their viewers would start to realize the same thing. The sad second layer is, if you think about concentric circles of these right-wingers, there are those who might wrongly believe that some of this stuff is legal. And once you explain to them that it's not, they go, well, then I'm not in favor of it. The second concentric circle is those who are indifferent to its legality, who you go, hey, by the way, this whole idea is not legal. And they go, well, I think it's morally right, so I don't care about the law. And then the third concentric circle would be those who know it's against the law and still have a bloodthirsty desire for it. There's probably some fourth ring of this concentric circle as well. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out the Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.